Hey, what's up guys? So we're back with Alex from Black Box My Car, and we're going to be talking about the history of dash cams. And you've been working, I know, with like different manufacturers, and also talking about how things work in different countries and how they've become popular in different countries for different reasons. This is kind of interesting. Depending on where you are, culture is different, people are different, the roads are different. Like there's all sorts of like interesting things that I didn't know any of this stuff. So I'd love to actually have a chance. Maybe you can tell some stories and some background for you guys, watching this. And yeah, take it away. So tell us about dash cams and how all this came to be.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
I guess the history starts a couple decades ago. I'd say about 12, 15 years ago, Korean dash cams started becoming super popular. And but interestingly enough, though, from what I heard, I mean, if you look at the police cars in the US, they've been using dash cams as early as 90s.
The police have, yeah.
Exactly. So in a way, the US police departments, I think, had this whole dash cam stuff figured out, but it was really tailored towards police agency use only.
Makes sense there, yeah.
And not necessarily for regular everyday drivers like you and I. However, in Korea, it started becoming really, really popular for various of reasons. And again, I guess it's the culture, perhaps.
Yeah.
The city is old, streets are tight, streets are narrow, and cars tend to be expensive. I mean, it's depending on what car it is, obviously, but any imported vehicles into Korea is expensive, right? So these people with more expensive vehicles wanted to protect their vehicle by having these dash cams that work with parking mode, right? And that's, I guess, why parking mode dash cams became super duper popular. Because, for example, Honda Civic, you wouldn't necessarily consider that car as an expensive vehicle per se here in the States, but in Korea back then, it's an expensive vehicle.
Oh, interesting.
So people that are not necessarily, that are jealous, let's say, vandalized and hit and runs, even if you are, you're just afraid because the cars are expensive, those cars are expensive, and if you're involved in that type of accident, even hit and run accident, you would just take off.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, okay.
And I guess that's why I guess the Korean, medium-sized small businesses found that this could be a market to grow into.
Yeah.
And they started making dash cams and Itronics,
Yep.
Fineview, and Blackview. I think these guys
Thinkware.
Thinkware. A little bit later,
that was later.
but I would say. I would say. So Blackview, Fineview, Itronics, they were the very first godfathers of the dash cams, I'd say.
Okay.
Blackview stuck through, whereas Itronics, I don't necessarily think they are making the dash cams anymore.
I think after like the ITB 100
Yeah,
HDSP
exactly.
or something,
I actually visited their headquarters.
Oh, you did?
In Korea, yeah. They have government contracts for making, along with transportation of Ministry of Transportation in Korea. So the company itself has a very steady stream of business through them. So they didn't get really interested in developing the dash cam category.
Okay.
And Fineview as well. Fineview, just like Thinkware, they're the navigation system provider for third-party apps and whatnot, and that's how they were able to start monetizing on selling dash cams. And again, parking mode was #1 factor in terms of getting people excited about equipping one, and in a way, the dash cams became popular because of that reason. And on a small occasion, some cars, I'm not going to name those cars, I don't want to get into too many troubles, but cars had issues with the sudden acceleration issue. And that's one of the actually major turning points in the dash cams in Korea, because that's car owners with those type of vehicles, they started mounting dash cams, and one channel just wasn't enough, and therefore they would mount one that's literally facing the pedals, just because the manufacturer wouldn't necessarily say you're screaming and yelling, but you know what, maybe it's a driver mistake.
Interesting, yeah.
And that's why I know. So back then, people would mount one for the forward facing, and then for the pedals.
Pedal cam. I've always seen people doing that, making YouTube videos on like teaching people how to drive stick or something.
Yeah, exactly like that.
Yeah.
You don't see that too often these days.
Yeah.
But that's also one of the reasons why Korean dash cams became super popular in the first place. because of the following reasons.
Okay. What about Chinese dash cams? I know they do them as well, but they're different.
For sure. They're quite different because I would say Chinese dash cams, they're cheap. Manufacturing, I guess, cost is significantly cheaper from China, whereas in Korea, not necessarily that's the case. So Chinese dash cams, I'd say starting about 4 or 5 years ago, I mean, even before then, I'd say Chinese dash cams were always available. But like we talked about in the Best Dashcam of 2018 video, Viofo, I'd say, is the very first Chinese branded dashcam that stood behind their customers and also wanted to create a brand that's made in China.
There's
type of
so
dashcam.
many just Chinese dash cams, but they're all just nonsense names. They're not,
Yeah.
whatever. But what about the parking mode? Like, they're the first ones, I guess, doing Chinese parking mode. Why don't they have that like the Koreans do?
Yeah, so that's interesting because I guess because we started our business with the Korean dashcams, and I suppose we're the very first company to really bring dashcams, high quality dashcam, and even cheaper Chinese dashcams into this market. Many of the Chinese dashcam companies wanted to work with us, but they didn't quite understand why parking mode is so necessary.
So, like, are the roads different there, or
I don't necessarily think so, but I guess their mentality behind parking mode is that essentially their word was, why do Korean drivers feel the need for recording it even when your vehicle is turned off? Are they that paranoid?
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. But whereas in Korea, because parking mode was one of the features to sell for those who own more expensive vehicles that you wanted to cover, right?
Okay, so it's kind of like the Korean dash cams are going after maybe higher end vehicles.
That's right.
Chinese are trying to hit the lower price point.
That's right.
Okay.
I'd say so. Or just that Chinese dash cams are always affordable. I think that's how they always want to position themselves.
That's kind of what they're known for,
Yeah, exactly. But don't get me wrong. I mean, Vicovation, DOD, they make awesome dash cams, Taiwanese brands, and they their dash cams are well over $300.
Yeah, and I mean, DOD, they do good parking mode stuff as well.
Yeah, exactly. But not as, I'd say, intuitive.
Right, and it's not as good as like Blackview and ThinkWord.
Exactly. So that's why if you're looking for a parking mode dash cam, I would always recommend choosing Korean dash cams, just because they understand why there's a need for it, and they've optimized and make it better and better with their dash cams. Whereas with the Chinese dash cams, they're more centered towards making a cheaper, more reliable dash cam perhaps nowadays. But starting about 2-3 years ago, Chinese brands also had been integrating, and with the A129, you do see a motion detection mode and time-lapse mode in terms of parking mode for them. So
it's not like
it's getting
basic,
there.
like, oh, we have the feature, like now it's actually working and stuff.
Exactly, so it is getting there.
And I'm glad you're sharing this, because I remember watching some of your videos and talking about like Korean dash cams versus Chinese dash cams. I'm like, I don't know the difference, I don't care. I figured the reason that you were talking about, well, you get a Korean dash cam, like, well, you're Korean, you're just wanting to sell your friends dash cams or something. Like, I didn't know about the cultural differences in the backgrounds on like how the stuff and the price points, like, so that actually helps kind of better explain, and for me to understand like why there's even differences there.
And lastly, Korean dash cams became even more popular because insurance companies in Korea have started offering discounts towards people with the dash cam. So they use it almost like a marketing tactic. So let's say insurance company A started by saying, hey, if you come to us and you have a dash cam installed in your vehicle with GPS installed actually, so that way they can track speed.
Right, yeah.
And you would get 3% discount. So now the company B says, we're losing clients here. Let's also offer a discount, but better than 3%.
Okay.
And then the company C goes, you know what, guys? We'll give you that 5% discount now that B offers, and we'll give you a $50 credit towards buying a dash cam.
Oh, interesting.
And then it got better and better and better. So now it's to a point where you get close to about $200 credit towards buying a dash cam.
Okay.
Or let's say ThinkWord or any major brand partner up with an insurance company to offer a dash cam.
Okay.
But interestingly enough, when you buy a car, you get that as part of a gift from the dealership. Yeah. So no matter what car you buy, you actually get a dash cam. I guess it's a new information.
I had no idea. I'm like,
Yeah,
whoa, you guys have dash cams, and in Korea, like they give them to you. Wow.
Exactly. So maybe that's why it's interesting, because in Korea, because you get this thing for free, you don't necessarily care about the quality. So even if you go into if you look at the dash cams that are available in Korea, they're still offering HD quality dash cams.
Oh, like so 720p.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's impossible to sell that thing here in North America.
Yeah, it's
right?
like,
You just can't do
1080,
that.
1440p, 4K. It's like you got 720.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I mean,
interesting.
2K market has been around. I mean, Thinkware was the first one to offer that in Korea 2-3 years ago, but it never really became a popular model. But look at here in North America with Blackview DR900, everybody's going, crazy
Yeah.
over that model. Right?
Everybody, yeah, I'm switching to 4K for my videos here. Not for this
Yes.
one, but
Okay.
recommendations, yeah. My GoPro is now 4K, and yeah.
Yeah, so that's one of the reasons why I guess Korean dashcams became super popular, and these brands are now being seen in everywhere else in the world. If you look at Singapore, I know they're doing like the Wow Gadget from Singapore. He's doing an awesome job in selling Blackview dashcams. Australia is another huge market for selling dashcams. Blackview again. UK is also very popular. Similar to in the examples of in Korea, because of the insurance fraud, UK insurance companies started offering discounts for those who are using dashcams, and therefore they became super popular.
Yeah.
And Japan, like we talked about.
Yeah.
Interestingly enough, out of all the Southeast Asian countries, Japan was the only country that really wasn't attracted in terms of using a dashcam.
That's weird because they're like tech city.
I know.
Yeah.
But I guess it's again cultural thing. They tend to be more polite and they don't drive as aggressively as they are in other countries. But just last year, a mother was involved in a road rage accident with her baby in the back of her seat, and I think the mother was actually either murdered or killed in an accident.
Oh wow!
And it was captured on a video dashcam, and the whole country moaned over it. And dashcams are super popular in Japan now because of that incident.
Yeah. Oh, interesting. Yeah, and I know for me, like one of the big things is I see these crazy Russian dash cam videos.
Oh yeah, that's right. Russia, right? Russia is another country.
Yeah. So what's the story with Russia? Are their drivers crazy
no.
or like what is that?
No. Let's not get there.
Maybe most people are okay. You just see the
I mean,
the one person. I don't know.
We've seen, I guess, extreme examples.
Yeah, and that's what gets
Russia.
your attention.
Yeah, exactly. And at the same time, I think Russian people also like shooting videos. So if you look at, for example, Blackview especially, because Blackview, I'd say, is the very first generation of Korean dashcam that exported outside of Korea. And the big clients were essentially Russia, Australia, and Singapore. But just so happens so that the drivers or people that were using the dashcams in Russia, they shared a lot more videos, maybe because they win this a lot more than other countries. And because of that reason, I think dashcam is super popular there. And nowadays for Russian market, what's really booming is that dashcam with radar detector feature in it.
Now they're starting to integrate them.
Exactly. So if you're watching this in Russia, maybe perhaps they can verify that information for us.
I've seen some options. Yeah, there's a couple brands of like integrated radar detector / dash cams, and I think it's a cool idea. There's been a couple in the US, but they're not really implemented well. They're like a really bad radar detector integrated with a decent dash cam, and so for us it's still like, okay, separate radar detector and dash cam, but I know overseas there's either more options or the market is different. I don't know, but yeah, there's more integration there.
Yeah, totally. And even if you look at, if we talk specifically about North American market, I think people here want either the most affordable option, or people want a good, reliable dashcam like what Thinkware F800 Pro offers, or the DR900S with 4K capability. And drivers want a small profile dashcam that's not too noticeable compared to anywhere else. If you look at Korean drivers, Korean cars in Korea, most of them, I'd say 99% have LCD, big chunky LCD monitor in it.
Really?
Yeah, again, because they want, I guess vandalism isn't something that they have to worry about. And because so many cars come with dash cams, like if you were to break into that one specific vehicle, like you might as well have to break in everything.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, no, seriously.
See, that's so different.
Yeah, it's so interesting.
If I see an LCD, I'm just like, steal me.
I know, and one of the reasons why, I mean, by having that bigger profile, by having that LCD monitor, you can also put all sorts of LED function, and it scares off people that this car is equipped with like a good quality dash cam, so that don't mess with my car.
Oh, interesting. I've seen that with even some of the other ones. They have like security LEDs
Yes,
that you can do and stuff, but it's not like
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And if you look at ThinkWare and Blackview dash cams here, they disabled that function.
Yeah.
Right?
At first, I was I don't want people to know that I have a camera.
Yeah.
I want it all black. Don't put any silver, any chrome. Like I want it stealth.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And now I'm more open to the idea of like, oh, somebody maybe won't break into your car if they see it. I could see that. But yeah, so I guess maybe more about here in the U.S. and like Canada. What are you finding like the biggest reasons people are getting dash cams from you guys?
Yeah, sure. So what's interesting is when we started this business 6+ years ago, the Canadians were somewhat exposed to the idea of the dash cam. It happened in Toronto. Some guy basically backed into a guy with a very poor quality Chinese dash cam. However, it captured everything, and it was on the national TV because the guy who rolled back into the guy who had a dash cam claimed that you rear-ended me.
I've seen that.
You've seen that, right?
No, I don't know if I've seen that one, but I've seen somebody else who had the same thing.
Yeah, and
just at a red light.
Exactly. And they said, and he said, I won't make a big hassle out of this. Just pay me this much, and I'll get this fixed myself. And the guy with the dash cam kept pointing at his vehicle and said, "I have a dash cam. Don't mess with me." And so it was on the national TV.
Wow.
Just so happens around the same time that I started the business, ironically. And so Canadians were somewhat aware of this piece of technology, but the Americans, I'd say they weren't too sure as to what's the purpose behind using a dash cam. Are you that paranoid? Do you have trust issues? Why do you need it? Are you violating my privacy law?
Yeah, that's an issue.
Yeah,
here
I know.
too.
And
Big Brother stuff.
Exactly.
And what about the microphone?
Yeah, exactly. Believe it or not, I used to get that type of emails. I'm like, why are you doing this? Are you funded by the government even? I actually had those type of emails come in when I first started the business.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, but interestingly enough, after many, many years later, I'd say only 2 years later, I think the consumerism is also different compared to US and Canada. Americans are willing to spend something for something that's nice for them. And if they find it super useful, they wouldn't have a second thought about buying it. So we used to get calls where, hey, I was just involved in a road rage, incident. I'm pissed off, I shouldn't be at fault, but blah, blah, blah. Or someone cut me off, or someone vandalized my vehicle, found your site, I want one, give me something that's best.
Yeah. Okay.
So we see that trend nowadays, and I don't think anyone finds it as a privacy concern anymore. Because they find it useful.
Right. Yeah, I've even seen that with like Lyft drivers and Uber drivers. Sometimes there's a concern like, well, what if one party knows that it's being recorded or both parties? So like, there's stuff that people have to figure out and all, and a lot of that stuff is getting figured out now. But yeah. So, wow, that makes sense. I didn't know about all that stuff with the different countries.
Is that right, eh? I see.
That's cool. Well, thank you.
No worries. No problem.
Are there more stories you could share with us? Or
I think I covered everything.
Is that pretty good?
In a way, that's one of the reasons why we're also trying to get insurance companies in Canada and US to recognize how useful these dash cams could be for them and for drivers. It's a win-win situation, right?
Yeah.
And we do have some exclusive contracts with fleet insurance companies because they understand it, but we want to implement that to everyday driver's policy where you don't necessarily have to pay the deductible just because you had a dash cam, or maybe get the person who ran away to pay for the deductible, right?
Yeah. Cool. Well, thank you.
Yeah, no problem. I guess
I didn't know all those differences and stuff.
This is an interesting, story for you, but why not?
Yeah.
For sure.
Cool. Well, thank you.
No problem.
Yeah. Wow.